You just tuned in to Up for Discussion.
What's up? What's up? Thanks for everybody tuning in. Kyle Leonard, Charles Richardson, Ron Pyle, all of you guys that are tuning in actively right now, we appreciate it. This evening, I am on my own, which is not something that typically happens. Usually, I've got Lathan somewhere in the room by my side or, sitting across from me. But this evening, I'm all by my lonesome and changing it up a little bit, trying some things different, and don't do that different, but definitely going to try to change it up a little bit. He is out of town and had some things that he needed to do uh, pertaining to church and taking care of pastoral duties. And because of that, I'm here this evening working on it on my own. Uh, we definitely have some news though. And because of that, I felt like it would be irresponsible to totally take off this evening. So I decided to come on in and try and do due diligence with the news that we have. This week, I'm going to be covering a few different things, covering some news in regards to weather, because we've got some weather coming up that I think will change the way guys are feeling and whether they're wanting to be in the stand. And I know that it will change how I'm feeling. And it definitely changes the way that things work here in the shop. I mean, when things get cold, guys start coming in and they start coming in regular and they start definitely, the whole mindset shifts. And I get excited about that. I get excited whenever guys shift over into a mindset of, uh, I'm ready to think about deer hunting, and that's all I want to think about for the next several days. It definitely gets me excited. So that's one thing that we're going to be talking about this evening, or I'm going to be talking about this evening. Also, want to talk about PSE and new things going on with PSE, the new Sicario, the new bow that PSE has released, and what that bow is advertising it will do, what we found in the shop that it will do, whether those things line up, and also want to talk about um, in the past we've talked several times about speed and whether speed is basically how much does speed matter, and it obviously does. um, it's obviously something that guys strive for, and uh, but the question still remains, how much does it matter over other things that the bow does? So, gonna touch on that a little bit this evening, and also want to talk about MFJJ. I know all of you guys that are hardcore archers know who MFJJ is, and so we're going to talk about Josh Jones and his new trade-in program that he's offering as far as bows. Uh, that one intrigues me a little bit because I know in the past that he has said that that was something he wasn't going to do, but he's decided that he's going to take trade-ins now, and for his business, that it just intrigues me. It intrigues me for a few different reasons because we here in the shop, we pride ourselves on taking trade-ins. We pride ourselves on trying to make sure those bows are um, equipped and ready to go back out the door. And I'm fascinated by the why, I guess, on that topic, and I have some opinions and some thoughts on it, but I'll share them as we get into it. So that being the case, we're going to go ahead and roll on into the weather. I probably won't keep this and stretch it out super long this evening. I understand that no one loves listening to one guy rattle off a bunch of things. Um, So because of that, I'll probably keep it short and to the point, but I do want to throw this out. Let me go ahead and share this screen share. So in the upcoming week, this is what we are going to be looking at here in Wayne County. Um, and this is exciting for the deer hunter because it has been hot for the last gosh, for too long. It's been hot, and I'm ready for a cool off. I know a lot of other guys are, and come it looks like Sunday, the 19th. So we are on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all the way down to 37 as a low. We've got a rain front that is moving in on Saturday, I believe Saturday evening, and it's going to come in Sunday as well. And we have a high of 64, low of 37. And that really is going to carry on throughout the rest of October. That's going to keep us. We have one other day that they're saying might possibly be in the 70s, but beyond that, we're looking at a lot of 60-degree temperatures, and that's exciting. I am excited about cold weather getting here and kind of settling in. So that right there has me pumped up. And I don't know about everybody else, but for me, I'm excited. I get excited whenever the temperature starts shifting because I know the mindset uh, of the hunter shifts. I know that the mindset of the deer shifts. And whenever guys start driving to work in the mornings and there's deer everywhere chasing, a guy gets to the point to where he's like, I cannot do this any longer. And he has to check out. And that ultimately means he checks in here at Ultra Products, uh, which I love. I love when guys are in the shop. I love when guys are hanging out in the shop. I love when that becomes the day-to-day thing is it's full. It's full in here. Guys telling stories and telling, about how the big one got away or slipped past them. I love the stories that guys just you can see the excitement on their faces. And you know, there's something about that I really, really enjoy. I really enjoy when guys start piling into the shop and they've got one thing on their mind. They've got one buck that they've been chasing, or they are excited about the prospect of being out in the woods day after day. And we've got several guys that are tuning in. Jerry Webb, he's on there. Colby Solomon, Rob Vaught, Sean Daniel, all you guys, I guarantee, are excited about getting in the stand in some cold weather. And I know I am. I'm excited about it. So, and it looks like we've got that coming up. We've got a few more days of warm, and then the cold weather is going to move in. How many of you guys are excited? Can I get an amen? So that's one of the things that I want to talk about is how, as weather begins to shift, what it does not only to the psyche, but also to the deer. And it will not be that long until we will begin to see the mindsets of the deer change as well. We are roughly 2 weeks out from the end of October, which means we are about 2 weeks out from the deer starting to do their thing and starting to get up and really uh, change what they're doing. Right now, they're still on food. Uh, there are even some bucks that are still running together. In the last week, actually, in the last 2 days, I saw a group of, which is surprising to me, a bachelor group that was still together. Um, but I'm seeing even on my trail cameras, there's some bucks that are still running together, but I've noticed a shift in regards to their demeanor towards each other. Uh, I we had a cool off last week sometime, and there was one night. I mean, my cameras, don't get me wrong, I've been getting some pictures, but my cameras went from what I would call somewhat dead to on fire overnight, and absolutely blew up. I mean, I went from getting 2 or 3 pictures of deer throughout the day to getting, I would say, 25 on each camera. And my part of me wonders, is that a moon thing, or is that because of the weather? And I think the moon guys will all chant that it's the moon, and the reason why it's happening is because of the moon. I lend myself more towards the weather. I I think that just like weather affects us, it affects animals as well. Uh, Now, my wife would tell you that the moon affects people as well. She knows that, and Lathan's mom would would contest or would argue that the moon is a big deal, because I know she worked in the hospital here in town for years, and every time the full moon was up, it seemed like the activity happened in regards to people coming into the hospital and weird things happening. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe it's a little bit of both. So, uh, what do you guys think? Is it the weather, or is it a moon thing? I kind of lean towards it's a weather thing, but I'm open to the moon being the cause as well. Uh, Either way, I'm excited. Over the next week, over the next 2 weeks, we have a major cool down coming. Sunday is going to be all the way down in the 30s, and I'm excited about that. It gets me fired up. So, one thing I want to talk to you guys about this evening as well is PSE. PSE, as of yesterday, released their new bow, and that being the case, I want to play their release video. Pretty cool. The bow is the Sicario, and it's an interesting bow because for years we have not seen a very many sub 6-inch brace height bows. Uh, in the 90s, that was a major thing. Companies were coming out with these speed bows that were extremely fast, and were basically what I would call barn burners. I mean, just incredibly fast bows. And PSE tried real hard to be the front runner in that for a while. And in some cases, it worked out well, and in other cases, it did not. However, this new bow that they released is pretty interesting. It's called the Sicario, and so I will go ahead and play the video, and you guys tell me what your thoughts are. So here we go. This is the Sicario.
Let's go get it done. Speed matters. Just
you really want to be the most lethal you can.
There's no one over, they go straight up. Two track that bottom. Yeah. Way out, but we can go.
We took what we've learned, with the Evolve Cam. It's like, what actually are we winning at, and how do we win at that more? What can we build on to make this even better? It's building on that accuracy. How far can we push this? How stable can we make it at full draw?
The draw cycle's like beyond smooth, and it comes with this extensive speed.
That's like the first time I've seen someone else shoot it. Man, that is a laser.
He's a big one. He's going to just sit down. Yeah, I think there's a...
He's coming. He's coming down.
Oh, there's another.
PSE, we prioritize performance, speed, and your comfort level on the draw. I want the bow that's just going to output the most energy possible. Over 300 feet a second is really impressive.
I'm throwing 510 grain arrows at 310 average. So this thing just shoots laser darts every time. That thing freaking rips.
The draw force curve is something that you feel when you do draw the bow back. Having a draw force curve that stores the most energy is going to give you the potential to have a faster bow. What we've learned is you can ramp up really fast, and it's not that offensive to people as long as that ramp up is linear. We're trying to, teach people that at full draw is where it matters.
I love the fact that my pin gap has just basically collapsed upon itself. I've shot some of the best groups I've ever shot. Pretty much anything between 20 and 40 is kind of almost like the same pinhold. That's pretty awesome.
The full draw stability is the measurement of how resistant that bow is to any hand torque, wind, trembling, anything at full draw. With this FDS cam, it's gaining over an inch of effective brace height. So your 6-inch brace height bow is turned into more than 7 at full draw. That's a huge difference in how sensitive that bow is to torque. It's making the ultimate hunting bow. You don't give up post-shot feel, you don't give up accuracy, but you get the most speed that you can while still having a comfortable bow to shoot.
Wow, PSE Sicario's like shooting laser beams, dude. Freaking lights out, man. Properly named, that's for sure.
All right, so that's the Sicario, and it's interesting to me. I'm intrigued by it because, for multiple reasons, not only the speed, cameras are very slow. All right, I'm starting to get some comments in, and so in regards to this PSE, let me minimize this because the FDS cam, I think, in my opinion, is the real story here. I think the Sicario is a fantastic bow. We have been shooting it here in the shop, and we're very impressed with what it's doing. A lot of guys have been raving about it. I'm going to switch this over to where you guys can see this a little bit larger. But the Sicario, to me, the major thing is the FDS cam. They've put this cam also on their Mach 30 and their Mach 33. We have the Mach 33 here in the shop, and to me, it's impressive how much better it is than last year's Mach 33. That in and of itself speaks to that FDS cam, and like it really comes down to what are you going for. It always comes down to this: what are you going for with the bow that you're shooting? This particular bow with the FDS cam provides something that some guys are going to be like, that is not what I'm looking for. To me, what it's providing you is it's providing you with speed. If you want speed, this is where it's at. If and what they're saying based on this, what they're saying based on this is that the comfort level that you are giving up with the FDS cam is such that it's you're not giving up much. I would argue that that's not entirely the case. It's a little bit dumpier than what I would prefer. I think if you want the perfect blend, you can go with the Mach 33, and you get both. You get the comfort that comes with a little, even though the axle to axle is exactly the same. What you find is with the 33, the draw cycle is much smoother. But you're losing a little bit of your feet per second. In that video, they said that guy said that he was getting 310 feet per second out of a 510 grain arrow. Here in the shop, what we've been doing is we've been testing it out, trying to push it with a 350 grain arrow. 350 grain is what IBO is. And we have been running somewhere around 348 FPS on it. So definitely a fast bow. Definitely probably the fastest bow that you're going to find on the market this year. That being said, it'll be interesting to see tomorrow. Darton is supposed to be releasing their new bow. So it'll be interesting to compare and contrast those two. I've got the Sicario here in the shop. For those who want to come in and shoot it, here it is. We've got it right here. Sicario, your drug lord, I guess. Or I think MFJJ called it the Mexican hitman. So definitely a nice bow. Whether you're going to want to spend the money on it, well, that ultimately comes down to, are you a guy who is a speed guy? And there's several guys who are, for sure. Set this back over here. But like I said, what we're seeing in the shop is that with a 350 grain arrow, we are at 348 feet per second on this particular bow, which is fast. I mean, that is like super fast. And Lathan has done a pretty extensive testing with last year's sequel in the 33, I believe. And it was a fast bow. It pretty much beat every bow that was in our shop as far as speed, but it was never sold as a speed bow. So it will be pretty interesting to see how their new bow, whatever it's going to be called, which is supposed to be released tomorrow, will pair up with this bow. It will be interesting. But it's my experience, based on what I've shot it, that if you're looking for fast, it's got what you're looking for. It's also my opinion that if you're looking for comfort, you might be just as well served to go with the Mach 33, because even though it has the same FDS cam, it let me tell you this. This is what I found. The PSE Sicario, if you shoot it as a 29 or less, the draw cycle is pretty silky. Once you put it up to a 30, the way it falls in is pretty aggressive. At a 30 with the Mach 33, you do not have that because you've not reached the end of the draw cycle. It goes up to 31, I believe. So if I moved up the PSE 33 to a 31, for one, I couldn't shoot it, or it would be pretty difficult. But for two, you might see that fall off happens there as well. I'm also intrigued by the fact that if you notice on PSE's website, one thing that they say, which I think is super interesting, the brace height on this bow is 5 1/4, but they've got something that they're calling effective brace height, which I'm not sure if it's just marketing. I will tell you, though, that this bow does not shoot anywhere close to what your average 5 1/4 brace height bow shoots like. This bow is far more comfortable than the old XIs of the day. Far more comfortable, and it's producing speeds that, to me, they've done a nice job. I have to applaud PSE on this. They have done a nice job on this bow, and because what they're saying is not wrong. They kind of give you the best of both worlds in regards to, for a 5 1/4 brace height, it is comfortable, and for shooting 357 is what they're calling it, feet per second. I think MFJJ got 351, and he was raving about it. And we got 348. I mean, it's fast. So that being said, is it going to be your new bow? Is it going to be the bow that you choose for the upcoming year? I think one thing a guy does have to weigh out is, and I've been saying this all along with all the bow companies, it seems like the prices of everything are going up. The prices of eggs, well, they're going down apparently, but the prices on pretty much everything are going up. And is there a point to where we reach a threshold of pain that we're like, that's beyond what I can justify? And to me, paying $2,000 for a bow is pretty difficult for, I would say, the largest majority of people. Now, that being said, I'm not in any way throwing shade on PSE for selling a $2,000 bow, because if it costs what it costs, I mean, I don't know what it costs to build a carbon bow. I know that there's a lot more that goes into it than there is with an aluminum bow, because everything has to be tapped or has to be perfect in regards to where it's set. And a lot of guys don't realize this, but when they build these carbon bows, there's basically, I don't know what you would call it, but they install pieces within this bow that will allow you to screw into carbon. And in doing so, there are places that basically there's aluminum. And the way I understand it, in several of the carbon bows, there's actually aluminum that goes all the way down into the risers in places. I've not, decided I wanted to cut a $1,500 bow in half just to see where the aluminum stops. But it's interesting. You're not always getting what you pay for in regards to carbon bows, but with PSEs, it is supposed to be primarily carbon. But that being said, it takes a lot more to make a carbon bow than it supposedly does with aluminum. And because of that, that's got to drive the price up. It's got to make it more expensive. We also see with the magnetite and some of the other materials that a lot of the companies are beginning to use. I mean, with Bowtech's Virtue Bow, it's right at $2,000. It is a nice shooting bow, and it's super light. It all comes down to where's the threshold of pain and what are people willing to do in regards to that. Because the guy that goes out and works for his dollar every day might look at that and be like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So, but the guy that loves it and is like, there's not a price that I can put on going out and enjoying myself out in the woods and knowing that what I'm taking out there is going to do what I need it to do when I need it to do it. So I guess that would be a question I've got for you guys. Is there a threshold that you're like, that's it, I can't go beyond that? Or are you willing to pay whatever? And if you are, come into Ultra Products. We'll take care of you. The last thing I want to talk about this evening is MFJJ. When I was watching his video on the PSE Sicario, one thing that stood out to me as much as anything is that they are beginning to do a new trade-in program. And that trade-in program is something that really surprised me that they were going to start doing. One thing that he said that they were going to do is they were going to basically, no matter what your bow is, they would take it in. And so they did not specify. He said any bow, which if that's the case, I am fascinated by that. We basically here in the shop take any bow. There's been a few exceptions to that here and there, but for the most part, we've taken any bow. But he's going to take any bow. He is going to put new gas strings on it. He is planning on making sure the bow is tuned and is safe to go out the door, which we do here in the shop as well. We look over all the bows. We make sure if the strings are totally roached, we either change those out or, that's what we do. We change them out if they're basically need to be changed out. But we also, one thing that he said is he would also do that trade-in program in regards to stores. And ultimately, I think that is where this is going, or at least in my mind, that's where it's going. I think that MFJJ is making a play in order to become the distributor like Lancaster is. A lot of people don't realize it, but when here at the shop, when we need something, there's distributors that we go to. A lot of times we don't go, it varies depending upon what the product is and how much of it we sell. If we sell a lot of that product, we go around distributors and we go direct to the companies. At that point, we have basically, in our minds, we've reached the point to where it makes enough sense for us to go direct to that person and buy it from them. Because so many times there's quantities that you've got to purchase in so many quantities that if you don't reach that, it's not worth it. So Lancaster is one of the places that we purchase. There's several others that we go through, but I think that there's a good chance that Josh Jones is making a play to become the next Lancaster, and could be wrong. If I am, sorry, but if that's the case, it could be a shift in some things in the archery industry. I think could be a good thing, and could definitely shake up some things. But either way, I'm on board for it. So I will say that I think, love him or hate him, I think he's been good for the archery industry. I think he has definitely made guys think outside the box in regards to what they're shooting, in regards to making sure that they're prepared, in regards to knowledge. He has absolutely 100% put knowledge back in the hands of the archer, because so many guys, all that being said, I will tell you that most of the guys that come in here, they don't care about what their bow does. They just want it to do what it needs to do. But there's a whole other group of guys that love the science behind it. And I think Josh reaches out to those guys, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the guys that come in and they're like, I want to take this bow and make it do everything that it can do. I want to make sure that the arrows are tuned to the best way that they can be for this bow. And I love that. I love the fact that guys are changing the way they think in that regard. Is that for every guy? No, it's definitely not. There's some guys that are less concerned about the bow and more concerned about the hunt itself. There's also guys that love just seeing what they can make it do. There's those guys in regards to in regards to firearms as well. Guys that are like, I want to see what I can make this thing do. And so many times, if you're going to do that, you've got to get really deep in the weeds of, what spine, and is it knock tuned, and the paper tuning is perfect, and what's my front of center, and all these things that some guys would get glossy eyed on. But I think he's been good in regards to bringing light to those things and bringing understanding to those things for the average consumer. So all that being said, we appreciate you guys tuning in. I in no way meant to go this long, but I appreciate the guys that watched. If you guys get a chance, make sure you stop in. We got a cold front coming in. We have a cold front coming in, and we are excited. So if you guys get a chance, make sure you stop in, shoot the Sicario. We will have it ready for you guys to shoot tomorrow as well. And we will be here first thing in the morning. 10 a.m. We will open at 10 a.m. when we're good and ready to open. So we appreciate it. And until next time, we'll catch you guys for Up for Discussion. Bye-bye.